Alô?
Hey, that's me, Lucas. I'm having some technical issues here, but while I don't fix it, let me tell you guys a little bit on why I started doing this documentary. Once I started working in this project, first, I was freaking out because I didn't know how to do a documentary by myself. But anyway, I started doing it about something that I love, music. So I interviewed 3 amazing musicians from Pittsburgh, Jacquea, Giselle, and Kelsey. Initially, I was trying to understand more about their lives as musicians. However, similarly, all conversations ended up going to the realm of identity.
And really start to think more about my relationship and my identity as a Black woman.
And that really helped to put in perspective to me how women are placed in the artistic world. A word that gives voice to human perceptions, but that is not being equally represented. And then you might be asking, what do you have to do with it? A young man from Brazil trying to talk about the struggle of women in the United States? Yes, to be honest, this was also my first question. And when I look it up, I was able to see some of the struggles.
When allegations of sexual assault first came out,
hey, America, you would be much happier at home with a husband and children.
And challenges that they face.
Undergarments?
You're the 5th person that's asked
Well, no,
that to me.
because
What is going on? Since when did people start asking each other about in interviews about their underwear?
and I thought that no matter how many times I'd say no, wouldn't matter.
So, that being said, this process made me change 2 things. 1, instead of talking about their lives as musicians, we will focus on talking about their lives as women in this industry. And secondly, because of an audio problem that I faced with Giselle's interview, I added another amazing artist, Lizze, who enriched the conversation by giving her perspective as a visual artist. So, what you will see here is the conversation that I had with Lizze, Kelsey, and Jacquea about their experiences and perspectives on how it is to be a woman artist in this country.
It's every single day, it's every single practice, and it's refusing to give up on yourself, no matter how hard it gets, because it's going to get hard. That's an understatement. Because, as an artist, you go through back and forth. You're like, oh, I got it. Nah, I don't know about that one. Oh, do I have it? Nah, man. Oh, I got it. Man, I'm going to go bankrupt. Until it's like, yo, I just did it. My upbringing, I would listen to a lot of soul music, a lot of old school, a lot of funk, a lot of Luther, Anita, a whole lot of Anita, because my parents loved Anita. Barry White, Marvin Gaye, especially Barry White. Barry White got a whole cassette player. Your voice is definitely an instrument, but don't get caught up in the way that it sounds for certain people. So what if it doesn't sound like perfect pitch is girly or so on and so forth? You still got it though. You say one thing, then you do another. I'm thinking of the fact that when I do sing, all the little worries and the doubts and the second guessing and the nervousness, all that just goes away. So that's all that matters. So it's just like, I don't care about any of that other stuff. That's all that matters. But you can get taken advantage of that way. So as long as you want to sing, you can get taken advantage of. As long as you have something that you want to give and contribute, and you're feeling desperate because you want to be heard, there's a difference. Growing up, I used to think that something had to give. I was thinking like, you know, I either had to be light-skinned, I had to have long hair, I had to have a big booty. One of those three things. And I was just like, I know it doesn't seem like that matters, but as a woman, you get taught to use your body and your looks and your level of attractiveness to get places, to go places, and to get into rooms that you wouldn't regularly get into had it not be for your attributes. And very often, women don't look like me. I have a fro. I have a small, teeny weeny little fro under here that I'm deep conditioning. Like, this is not the girl that they see. Or, you know, I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to get you to have sex with me or think of me in an over-sexualized manner. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a time and place, but not all the time.
Decided to stand rather than fall. You say, yes, I am here. And here I stand. Amazingness is waiting for you to claim the very stars in your heart that are meant to shine. Just as others are waiting for their own time, they never stop.
People are going to judge you regardless. I've had people judge me and say, oh, you're pretty to be a dark-skinned girl. Or I didn't expect girls from the hood to talk this proper. Or Jacquea, I wouldn't expect you to sound the way you sound. I thought you sound more hood. I don't even know what the hell that means. Yes, black women go to therapy. Yes, black women go get massages. Yes, black women deserve orgasms and yoni eggs and trips out the country and trips to retreats. And black women deserve to not answer a phone call sometimes. Or black women deserve to just cry. Black women deserve to just pray and send love and know that even if they can't do much, that matters much. It does.
I heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. A part of being on any stage is being criticized. You have to be able to take critique and be able to make it, you know, useful to you, hopefully. But also it's hard. And a lot of times it's coming from this male-centric standpoint where it's like, I can't tell you how many times in classes I heard male teachers tell young women that they had to lose weight. I started performing with a group called the North Star Kids, and the North Star Kids were a professional troupe that we did musical theater numbers basically, and we gigged like every other weekend. We were out playing the Gateway Clipper Fleet or playing like Heartwood Acres or, you know, singing the national anthem at the baseball field. We did a lot of shows. So I was really fortunate that I got to start performing professionally because then it just got me comfortable with in all sorts of different stages and showing up and figuring out blocking and then like boom, go. Sharing so much time and space and music and theater with people who were just different than me blew my mind open. One of the friends, a very dear friend that I had made in that process, she was scrolling through my iPod and she was like, everything you listen to is like a bunch of white dudes. And I hadn't realized, but as a result of lots and lots and lots of car trips with my dad, who's a white dude, I ended up listening to a lot of white dudes. And so that was kind of a pivotal shift for me in high school, was realizing like, oh my God, musically, I'd been shaped a lot by classic rock, by white dudes, and that I had to kind of dig and find more.
Turn and return in your dreams, return. Give a land
expected to be glossy. We're expected to have this polished and kind of like overproduced look compared to men. Men can show up on stage, play whatever they're playing, dressed however they're dressed, and no one will comment on it. But everyone wants to tear women to shreds. What they're wearing, what color nails they have on, what color lipstick, how their hair is done. If you have body hair, there are all of these double standards that you can't just like roll into a gig and be like, this is what I look like. It's always got to be this like hyper feminized version of yourself. Whenever I do work that's rooted around identity, you start to realize how similar your stories are. We have the same traumas, that we have the same things to celebrate, and they might seem like the things that shape you. They're these like life-altering moments or situations, but they shaped everybody, you know? People associate feminism and being a feminist with being anti-men, with being angry. And in a sense, there should be some anger there, right? There should be some anger at how unjust it is, and how uneven and unequal like the playing field is between men and women. Everyone should be angry that we make 20 cents less on the dollar. That's crazy. But how that becomes this sort of like male bashing thing is definitely diluted.
What would be the advice that you give to
young men?
A young man that wants to treat a woman with respect.
I would say listen more and talk less. When people are in a group setting, it's just so common that women don't get to finish their thoughts. And some man wants to jump in and carry the conversation away. I would tell them to, when that happens, just to be vigilant, to say, excuse me, wait, you just cut her off.
I've offended people with my work many times. A lot of people have thought that I get a little too sexual or a little too objectifying of women in some of my portrayals of them. But for me, it's a tongue-in-cheek, kind of like satirical format. And I've actually had people that also assume that I'm a male artist if they don't know my name or have not met me before. I always knew I wanted to make art. I didn't necessarily know I wanted to do that as my career or as my livelihood, because even though I had parents that were both artists when they were around in their 20s and 30s and they were making a career out of that, I knew it was not an easy path to choose, and they were encouraging of it, but at the same time, I knew how to kind of temper my expectations. I figured I'd have to get some kind of a regular job, if you will, instead of being a full-time artist. And that's up until just this past year, that's precisely what I've been doing. I've been working part-time and other full-time work before, and I would do art when I had a spare moment, but now I'm able to do full-time art, which is quite an achievement for me, and I'm very proud of myself for doing that. In college, we had visiting artists and visiting professors come and look at our studio. It was always a little bit of a stressful event because it were people that you're not familiar with that are also very well regarded in the field, and they're artists themselves or they're professors on another department. And one faculty came who is a female, and after looking at my work, which was very sexually driven, vulgar imagery and explicit, which my work was at the time, she said to me, "Are you okay with the fact that you're a misogynist?" And I told her, "I'm not, because I don't hate women." And I felt this need to kind of jump to the defensive towards myself. but it was another woman kind of saying and getting the idea that I was a misogynist based on the imagery in my work. I absolutely see a disparity with how many women are expressing interest in the arts and are in high school or college or post-college programs for the arts. I can only speak on a visual artist level because that's my background, but it was almost entirely female. Very few boys in the class, but the professors and graduate students were a little bit more balanced, if not actually more male-oriented. That was something I noticed pretty early on in my college years was, I wonder what happens after this, because clearly not all of us are going to be college professors. Even outside of the educational institutions I've been in, now as a freelancer, you'll see a lot more, let's say, mural painters for restaurants or businesses. I know far more men that do that in Pittsburgh than women. And I'm not sure entirely why that is, but it's perhaps something that's endemic to the whole industry, that there's just more opportunities that are easier for men to get, or that they're more available to men, or that perhaps people view it as a physical job. They might be reluctant to hire a female muralist as opposed to a male muralist if you had to choose one or the other. I've never personally experienced a whole lot of discrimination based on my gender, but it's kind of like under the surface. You can kind of tell certain environments and certain people they have their own preconceptions of what you can do and who you are. A responsibility that you have as anyone in the arts, be it a female, male, a member of the LGBTQ community, a person of color, you have to be unapologetically yourself and not compromise who you are for anyone. Because if people do that, it's inevitable that you will confront people that are discriminatory and will have prejudicial views towards you. But the worst thing you can do is give them the satisfaction of winning in terms of controlling or manipulating who you are, or silencing parts of who you are.
Hey, here I am again. Now just reflecting on how eye-opening this journey was for me. I hope you guys enjoy as much as I did, and I hope to see you soon.